Hi, I'm Pete Smith from New Jersey. Yeah, I like James Ray. I've seen him in The Secret. I think he's got a lot of good things to say, but he's guilty.
All right, that was our iReporter Pete Smith from Stanhope, New Jersey. He's been a firefighter for 24 years and has often been hired to supervise events. He talks to me now to share his views on the Sweat Lodge tragedy. Pete, great to have you with us.
Hi, Ryan. How are you?
Good, Pete. Good iReport. I like that one.
Thanks.
Now, Pete, let me ask you, you've been on hand for events, things like that. Tell us a little bit about that and what you would have expected to see. You talked about paramedics, ambulances. What would have made this a situation where they did what they were supposed to do in your mind?
Well, they certainly should have had at least 2 ambulances on scene with EMTs. EMTs are your basic emergency medical technician. And then you can have paramedics, which are advanced life support. And it would have been a good idea to have one of those at least on scene too. When you have that many people, and knowingly, you know, James Ray knew that things were going to happen to these people that were going to incapacitate them, and that they were going to start losing their mental capabilities and physically, you know, be physically affected. And then he expected them to take care of themselves. So he can't really expect both things. And he should have definitely had 2 ambulances at least on the scene, ready to care for people. I mean, that would have been the prudent thing to do. Okay, so at least 2 ambulances. But Pete, let me give you the defense side of it. They're going to say, well, you know, we're now hearing about a 2003 sweat lodge. We're not going to hear a lot about that probably in this trial. But there is the point that they had a sweat lodge before. They didn't have ambulances, nurses, doctors, anyone like that. There were only a few minor situations, but they believe everything was fine. They might say, how would one know, or at least be prepared for the idea that something like this might happen? Well, I think from past experience that he could expect that people are going to suffer some physical and mental, you know, diminished capacities from the things that he's doing. I mean, he explains it to them. So just because it didn't happen in the past, that he didn't need medical professionals in the past, doesn't mean that he's not going to need it this time. I mean, I've been to events that were minor events, concerts for, you know, with a couple of bands at a middle school, and they were expected to have an ambulance on scene for, you know, an unforeseen emergency, and that's with no real dangerous things going on, you know. Somebody that's actually having people in there. He's telling them that they're experiencing this transformation, but a lot of that is just that they're experiencing really some physical problems from the steam and the heat.
And we're hearing about those physical problems. Pete, I got to ask you, what do you think of the waivers in this situation?
Well, the waivers, you know, when I sign a waiver for something, it's with the understanding that I can't hold the person liable for unforeseen problems. But to me, this is a foreseeable problem, at least for James Ray, and that he knows that this could cause problems for people. Now, the participants don't necessarily feel that it could be that dangerous, because you expect the person is not going to harm you in any way. But this certainly was not unforeseen. This would be something that he should have planned ahead to cover.
All right, so Pete, we're on the prosecution side of this. We know we have a full defense case coming up, but as you see it right now, you mentioned in your iReport you think guilty. Do you think that there's any room to believe that maybe these folks had free choice and maybe James Ray should be not guilty in this case?
No, I don't. He should be found guilty. That you can't expect people to make choices when they've lost some of their mental capacity, and he's the one that encouraged them and actually got them to do that. So they can't make solid choices for themselves at that point. You need people that are going to make the choices for them, that say, you're sick, you need some medical attention.
All right, Pete Smith, thanks so much. And by the way, thanks for your expertise as well. It's good to get your perspective on this, especially from someone who's been in these kinds of situations before and knows what people do to try to protect themselves and make sure their participants are protected. Thanks a lot, Pete.
Thank you, Ryan.
All right, appreciate it. Now, folks, you want to see yourself on In Session? You